In a regulatory filing, AppLovin said its indication of interest is preliminary and there can be no assurance that a transaction involving the company will proceed. Bidders for the short video social media company are piling up as the weekend deadline for TikTok to find a buyer approaches. Amazon and separately a consortium led by British entrepreneur Tim Stokely are the latest to throw their hats into the ring for TikTok. Meanwhile, Reuters earlier reported that private equity firm Blackstone is discussing joining ByteDance's non-Chinese shareholders, led by Susquehanna International Group and General Atlantic, in contributing fresh capital to bid for TikTok's U.S. business. And finally, here's the U.S. market preview. Stock futures moved lower today, tracking a heavy sell-off on Wall Street that saw U.S. equities falling by the most in 5 years. Now, if you recall, all three major indices ended their worst day since 2020 overnight. The blue chip Dow tanked 3.98%, the S&P 500 fell by 4.84%, while the Nasdaq was the biggest loser, tumbling 5.97%. The movements came as investors sold off holdings after U.S. President Donald Trump announced a baseline tariff of 10% on all imported goods into the U.S., with certain countries facing higher duties. The question for investors now is whether countries would come to the negotiating table to strike deals with the U.S. to lower the tariffs. In the meantime, all eyes remain on the release of the latest U.S. non-farm payrolls report due tonight. Economists in a Dow Jones poll expect non-farm payrolls to have risen by 140,000